Welcome back to another episode of Too Many Frames, the show we talk about video games, anime, and everything else that is in between. Welcome back to the show. It's been another crazy week filled of, a bunch of bullshit, but hey, man, that's just the way that life kind of goes. We're just gonna go dive right into the show with the first thing, and probably one of the biggest things that we should be talking about on the channel. The Switch in its first 4 days sold 3.5 million units. That is genuinely astounding. Now, for people that don't know, right, this is like the biggest console launch that we've seen in years. Let me see if I can pull up a statistic just to kind of show you how crazy this is. The Switch 1 took 1 whole month to sell 2.7 million units, while the Switch eclipsed that shit in 4 days. And a lot of people are saying, well, I could still find Switch 2s just out in the wild and shit. And you probably can, but it's probably because Nintendo actually made sure to stock enough for, people to actually be able to buy shit. Because, due to the tariffs and all that, it was going to more than likely be more difficult to secure a Switch. And it probably will be later on in the future, depending on if those tariffs actually end up going through or not. We don't know what's going to end up happening with that. But I will say this is a huge accomplishment for Nintendo. This is the fastest console launch, literally of all time, eclipsing even that of the PS4 and PS5, bro. It's ridiculous. Genuinely, I think that if anything, this is just gonna kind of push the Switch's lifespan to greater heights. The Switch 1 was already a huge success, right? But the Switch 2 kind of had people in doubts, okay, well, enough people would be willing to move over to that new platform in order to play better games, or even if it was just Mario Kart. And I guess, the data answers our questions, genuinely, there it is. They tell us right then and there, enough people are willing to, shift over into the next generation of the Switch ecosystem. Now, I'm hoping that this console generation ends up lasting much longer than the OG Switch. I still feel like the OG Switch, if they took a little bit more time, had a lot more to offer, but I get why they cut it short. It's still gonna get games, but it's bro, 7 years isn't enough for me. 8 years isn't enough for me. I feel like I want to be able to have this Switch 2, the same one, for the next 10 years, right? I'm hoping that this we don't see any Switch 3 stuff for a while. Now, with that being the case, since we're on the topic of consoles, I did want to talk about what Sony was saying. Basically, as it comes right now, right? Sony is essentially saying that they don't see Nintendo as a threat, which I think is valid, right? Because, when it comes to regular or casual gamers, right? They're going to see a PS5 and be like, yeah, I'm going to play all that heavy hitting games on that and not on my Switch 2 or whatever, right? So yeah, very, very valid for Sony to say that. But they also are saying that the PlayStation 6 is of top priority, and I've already seen so many people sort of voice their opinion on this, and I share the same exact opinions. Why are we focusing on the PlayStation 6 right now? I feel like that's genuinely the worst thing that we could possibly do. The PlayStation 5 is leagues above the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch 2, yet for some reason the entire library feels like I could beat it within maybe 2 days. Genuinely, I don't know, bro. I know that's a hyperbole, obviously, but it genuinely feels like this entire console generation, PS5, Xbox Series X, it was just nothing. It was for nothing. Genuinely, nothing came of it. We didn't get anything crazy. Okay, we got Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man Miles Morales. We got God of War Ragnarok, and we got Demon Souls, stuff like that. But most of those games are single player action games. We didn't get anything revolutionary, nothing innovative in this console generation. And you could say stuff okay, well, what about Elden Ring, bro? That's a multi-platform game, right? That's not something that really I'm going to attribute to the PlayStation 5, bro. I'm not going to give PlayStation 5 credit for a different developer's work, right? So that's where I'm kind of sitting at right now. I'm hoping that if they do end up having a PlayStation 6, it's not just a stronger PS5. And I know this is gonna sound redundant, but bro, Nintendo Switch can get away with that because the Nintendo Switch was actually bad, genuinely a dog shit console, and the Switch 2 is genuinely feels a worthwhile upgrade, because the upgrade, even though it's not as good as what we currently have on the market, it is so good in comparison to what we had that it feels justified to buy that console. Dude, I really didn't even see, I made a video, a random video before on PlayStation 5, making a PS5 Pro, and I'm who is this for? Bro, who is the PS6 for? There's still people that are buying games for PlayStation 4. You got to focus on getting those people to turn over into the PS5 first, bro. But you know why? There's no games. There's no games on the PS5, bro. You could get all the games that are they're first party people, like the first party games and IPs and stuff, you could go ahead and just wait, go to Steam, buy it there, just wait a year, and you can just do all that. You don't have to get a whole brand new console to do that. You can literally just wait 1 year and be like, all right, bro, eventually it's gonna come to PC. And that's what sucks the most. Like eventually it'll come to PC. Final Fantasy will eventually come to PC. Fucking whatever, like Spider-Man will eventually come to PC. Wolverine will eventually come to PC. All that stuff, like, it's just a lot. Now they have a lot of like good games, at least for the first year that they are released, but it still feels like, damn, bro, like it's just not looking good, bro. It's not looking good. They even said in a interview, they're saying that they're gonna have one like big title per year, which to me is kind of like, that's it? One big title per year out of the 12 months that we sit through waiting for games. You're gonna give us one good title per year instead of like 4 or 5 big, like Sony's not, I don't know, bro. I just don't see how you could like just be a defender of this shit. Like, you're gonna call Nintendo and shit anti-consumers and shit when literally Sony's not giving you any reason to play their console. At least for me right now. I Netflix on that shit, watch it on my PlayStation, go to sleep, and that's about it. And even then, I could still do that on my PC. I could still do that on my phone. I'm just trying to get some sort of use out of that $500 console. But realistically, bro, if they're really gonna make a PS6, we're about to see like the craziest like shift in a company ever. Like, genuinely, it's gonna be insane. All right, anyways, moving past console talk and all that, I kind of wanted to talk about this little bit of Pokemon Go news. And I don't really play the game that much, but this genuinely seems kind of insane. So essentially, they just revealed that there's going to be a brand new mechanic to Pokemon Go called hyper training. If you didn't know, every Pokemon's like usually born, quote unquote, with like certain statistics, and they max out at 31 for each stat. And in the base game, you could go ahead and get all those stats up to 31 if you have things like bottle caps, and it's called hyper training. You give like bottle caps to this bottle cap guy, and he'll hyper train your Pokemon to whatever, or to like the max stat that you need them to be at, right? So they essentially brought this to Pokemon Go, but since Pokemon Go only has like 3 stats in the first place, it's a lot smaller. I thought they're gonna probably just make like random stuff that you could do, but apparently what they're doing right now is that you have to buy a whole pass that is like $20 just to actually hyper train one Pokemon per pass. Like, I get what they're doing, but like, are they that low on money? I don't know, dude. Like, I'm not really locked in, like tapped in to the Pokemon shit, or Pokemon Go shit at least, but this genuinely seems like 10 million steps back. But it's crazy because I forgot who the company was, but when Niantic did say that they were stepping down from the gaming side and they gave it to that other company, which I cannot remember what games they make or what their name was, but everybody was like doom posting like, oh, they're gonna start making the microtransactions like even worse, like everything's gonna be bad. And I was like, maybe not. No, this is like literally like the fastest like turnoff that I've seen for a game, bro. Like, you're telling me for $20 I can get my imaginary monster to have like optimal stats. Like, what's the point? And also, I feel like in a game like this, where like catching Pokemon and making them specifically like, or like finding like the individuality in each Pokemon is very important. So if you could just do that shit within the base game, like, you're kind of taking away everything that makes the game interesting and fun. Like, you're trying to catch Pokemon and catch multiple mons in order to find like the strongest one on your team. That's not like the goal, but like, you know, like for whatever game modes that they're trying to do, like, it is guaranteed 100%. Like, I don't know, like usually people find pride in catching a Pokemon that has maxed out IVs and is a shiny or is like really big or has like any of those other statistics. So if you could just kind of just do that and just pay $20 and be like, yeah, mine too. I don't know, it makes the game feel way less special. I'm genuinely thinking that Pokemon Go, like, even though it's making a lot of money right now, I'm assuming it's still making a lot of money. That's just a guess. I think that they're gonna definitely take a huge hit, like huge. In other news, we're getting a Donkey Kong Bonanza Nintendo Direct. I am very excited to see more of this game, but since the game comes out in like a month, I really don't want them to show too much. I do know that they have to like advertise stuff and all that, but I really just want them to keep it like nice and concise and to show me more like bosses, but like not every boss, you know, to show me more gameplay mechanics, show me some characters that are going to be making appearances in this game. Like, show me those things. Don't show me too much, because I'm already excited for the game, I don't want to get like spoiled from playing the game already, but I doubt they're gonna do that. I will say though, not getting a mainline direct in this month supposedly will kind of hurt a little bit. Like the last direct that we had was a Mario Kart World Direct, and the one before that was just like the Switch 2 reveal and all that, which I mean, okay, obviously those are our two biggest ones, so I do think we're gonna have to probably wait a little bit. But like the next couple like presentations for Nintendo are essentially just like IP focused ones. Like we're getting a Pokemon Presents in July, this Donkey Kong one in June, and then more than likely we will end up getting another like direct dedicated towards, you know, like Metroid Prime 4, more than likely. And also we just got like a random shadow drop of Splatoon Raiders, which makes me assume we're going to get a bunch of news in a direct, but they're like, we could probably just separate and segment all of these like IPs into their own specific directs or presentations or just showcases or whatever. I do think a direct is in the works. I just don't think it's going to be this month. If it is going to be this month, guaranteed it's going to be like at the end of the month. It's not going to be that much closer to the Donkey Kong Bonanza. Usually they'll have a direct, like a mainline direct, and then announce another presentation during that presentation. So I feel like the fact that we're getting a presentation announced for a specific game is not to get this month at all. But hopefully July we get some more news, because we don't have any release date for Metroid Prime 4 still. We don't have any release date for Kirby Air Riders. We still don't know what their entire launch year lineup is going to be. Like we kind of can make assumptions like, yeah, okay, Kirby Air Riders, Pokemon ZA, Metroid Prime 4, Splatoon Raiders, maybe, you know, maybe Pokemon Champions, we don't know. But I would like some more games to be put out, you know, because a lot of people are like, oh, what am I waiting this yada yada for, bro? This game or this console could be ass. Like there's no games that I want yet. I think they need to, I mean, I think Switch 2 is selling perfectly fine, but if they want people to actually want this Switch 2, they need to start putting out like a lot of games. I think like maybe, I don't know, they'll figure it out though. I'm gonna be honest, that's all I really wanted to talk about. I mean, like, yeah, I was gonna say Andy Bogard was announced that fighting game, Fatal Fury, but I have not heard anybody talk about that game since the game launched. So I think I'm gonna end the show out here. If you guys enjoyed today's video, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, all that good shit. Make sure to share, whatever, all that stuff, right? I will be going live a lot more often. I did want to leave like this last segment of the video to sort of explain to you guys what's going to be happening with the channel soon. I'm gonna be making some shifts. I think a lot of the like Pokemon gameplay stuff or like anything gameplay related will more than likely move to Twitch, and I'll keep YouTube for like the, you know, like the special events like a Summer Games Fest or the Game Awards or like a Nintendo Direct reaction and shit. If I'm gonna go live, I'll do it through YouTube for like an event. But if it's just playing games and stuff, bro, like I might just have to like specifically just set up in whatchamacallit on Twitch. And then also I'm probably more than likely going to be transitioning into more TikTok focused content, but like at least in terms of live streaming on TikTok, that's where that's going to more than likely be at. So if you guys don't know already, click the link. I have a link tree in the bio. You guys can go ahead and follow me on TikTok. We'll eventually get a lot of that TikTok shit like pumping out a lot more. There's gonna be a lot more content coming out because I've been outsourcing an editor for this stuff, and I kind of want to see if he's gonna be able to, like how he's gonna do. So he hasn't edited anything yet, but in the future you will see some more shit being worked on in the background, and there's gonna just be a lot more content coming out. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the next episode of Too Many Frames next week. Peace out and have a good one.